Hi, Flick here from the Nerd Soapbox, and today we're at the Pasadena Robo Toy Fest, and I'm here with a special guest. It's Buzz Dixon. Hi, Buzz.
Hi, how are you, Flick? How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. Okay, so guess what? Buzz has worked and wrote for such awesome shows as Thundarr, Tiny Toons, G.I. Joe, Gem, Transformers, My Little Pony, Batman, Chippendale. Oh, get a little tired. Wow. Okay. So this is Robo Toy Fest. How many scripts or episodes do you think you wrote for Transformers?
I wrote officially 3 for Transformers,
Okay.
but I probably worked on a lot more than that because the nature of the writing was that if something needed to be done, you found somebody to do it and you handed it to them.
Right.
So there's any number of scripts that I probably wrote a scene or rewrote dialogue or something, and I never got my name on them.
All right. Okay. Do you have a favorite Transformer or G.I. Joe character to write for?
Oh, I had a favorite in both. My
Right.
favorite Joe character was Shipwreck. I've got got him on the chest right here.
Right.
And my favorite Transformer character was Jazz because Jazz was voiced by Scatman Crothers.
Yes.
And every time I could write a script with Jazz in it, I got to go to the recording session and hang out with Scatman all day. That was a ton of fun. So Jazz was my favorite Transformer.
Jeez, tough life.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. One of my favorite Transformer episodes, all right, you've probably heard this before, the God Gambit.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, Omega Supreme, one of my favorite characters. Decepticons pretend to be gods to the aliens to get them to do their bidding. How did that script come about? And I mean, they let you do that?
They let me do
Wow.
that, and one of the reasons they let me do that is that I am a believer. I am a Christian,
Right.
and I was taking great offense at the televangelists who were cheating people, who
Oh,
were
yeah.
telling people, give us your money and we'll do this for you and that for you. And I wanted to do a story that criticized that mindset, but you obviously couldn't actually criticize real televangelists. So we set it on Titan with a group of alien natives,
Right.
and then built the story around that. Then that they would let me do.
Okay. All right. Look, if they ever find aliens on Titan.
Yeah. Well, I get the credit if they find aliens on Titan.
All right. So what was Hasbro like to work with in general?
They were very good to work with.
Yeah.
The very first scripts you would do for them, they would give you a list of characters and vehicles and accessories, and they'd say, make sure that this appears in the script.
All right.
And then by about the second or third script, they realized, these guys are going to use every tool in the box. Just let them go.
Wow. Okay.
They approved of a lot of stuff that I'm surprised they approved of, and we got a lot of stuff through that I'm surprised we got through.
Right.
So I'm very happy to have worked with them.
How did you get away with making G.I. Joes and Transformers not a half-hour commercial for the toys?
Well, we just decided that because we had so many characters, we could do any kind of a story we wanted, and we could find a character to fit into that. So instead of promoting every character, we would come up with a story and say, no, who in the cast list do we have that would be right for this?
Right.
And we could do a wide variety of stories. I mean, we did some stories that were very serious, very somber. We did others that were very, very funny. And because we had the freedom of using any characters we wanted, it came out natural. It didn't come out forced.
All right. Could you talk a little bit about writing good guys versus bad guys on the show? Because your good guys and bad guys on these shows aren't 100% good or just sort of 100% bad.
We wanted to show that it wasn't the black and white that you had with a lot of shows.
Mm-hmm.
I say Super Friends only as a shorthand. I'm not denigrating the people who like Super Friends, but Super Friends, you're either impossibly good or impossibly bad. And we recognized there had to be more complexity to that. Episodes that I wrote, some of the Joes were shown to have weaknesses. They would take shortcuts they shouldn't necessarily take. We would show that sometimes in the Decepticons, there would be a Decepticon who would have a spirit of honor to him, even though he was fighting against the heroes. We wanted to show that, make the stories a little more three-dimensional, a little more complex.
Right. Did you ever think that that G.I. Joe and the Transformers would last as long and have this fan base here this many years later?
Well, I'll tell you something. When I was growing up, I was involved in science fiction fandom quite a bit.
All right.
And even in the 1960s, the original EC Comics bullpen, Wally Wood and Al Feldstein and Graham Ingalls and all these guys, Frank Frazetta, they were legendary.
Oh, yeah.
And people were still remembering the work they had done years and years later. And as a kid, I thought to myself, I hope someday I can work on a project. It's a really cool project. It's got a really cool bunch of people to work with, and it'll be remembered for a long time. I got my wish.
Oh, yeah, in spades.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. What are you working on now?
I have a book coming out very soon called Four Banished Children of Eve, which is best described as a World War II Lord of the Flies with Catholic schoolgirls.
Oh, wow.
If you go to your newsstand, the latest issue of Analog Magazine, the May-June issue, has my short story, While You Sleep, Computer Mice Earn Their Keep. And I have other works coming out over the next few months that I'll be announcing as they get closer to fruition.
Announcing on your website or social
media?
My
website, I have a blog, www.buzzdixon.com. That's all one word.
www.buzzdixon.com. All right.
I am on Facebook. I am on Tumblr. I'm on Instagram. I post a lot of silly stuff on Instagram. And I'm on Twitter.
All right.
So I'm on most of the social networks.
Okay, I'll follow you.
Thank you. Please do so.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, well, as they say, knowing is half the battle.
That's true, and red lasers and blue lasers are the other half.
Go, Joe.
Yo, go. Nice to talk.
Geez, it was awfully fun talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, let's see who else we can find to talk to at Pasadena Robo Toy Fest. So we're going to get one of these shirts.
This was made for by a fan. This was
fantastic.
Yes, I was attempting to meld the little ponies with the G.I. Joes, and my idea of having the ponies look for help and Shipwreck thinking he was having the DTs did not fly with Hasbro, and so we never got to do the crossover.